What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You guys will see on the balcony, so you know what that means. But I am going to start a new finance kind of series about me getting completely out of debt and building wealth. Starting today. The title's real, right? I used to be a big credit card guy. Right? I'm 22 years old. The minute I turned 18, from like 18 to 20, I was in that credit card game. I was trying to get every card, and from Amex's, Bank of America's. I only have one Chase. I think at the peak, I think I had maybe 15 cards, 18 cards. I know it was less than 20, but more than like 12. It was a lot of cards for a 20-year-old. Well over $10,000 in credit limits. Today it's around $14,000. That's how much I'm in debt. But now I'm in a point in my life where I've done a lot of growing from 21 to 22 to now 23. My birthday's very, very soon. I'm 23 this year. And now I'm just like, I've become more of a long-term investor, learning about value investing and things like that. I used to be like a short-term trader, trading options, day trading, short trading in very small time frames, a couple of days to maybe a week to 2 weeks at most. Where now I'm looking at the long term, thinking about how can I decrease, my taxable income, like all types of stuff. But really, I'm in the process of getting my CDL. I should be taking my road test either Monday or Tuesday of next week. Today's Thursday, the 21st of August. And so I'm going into a career. I'm already getting paid, but I'm going to be talking about that in another video. And where the point where I'm able to double my income, get a retirement, pension, all that. But before that, going through this process, being out of work, not making money, my credit cards, all of them got maxed out. I think my credit score is like 400. But really in this series, I'm going to be posting more and more videos coming soon, is that my journey of getting out of debt, $14,000 in debt right now. And my vast majority of it is credit cards. Only a couple thousand in student loans, thank God. But guys, I'm going to be showing you guys each of my paychecks. What am I doing with my paycheck? I plan to take half of my paycheck, probably more than half of it, on paying down high interest rate debt. And eventually, once we get to a certain point, I'm going to get back into investing. Sadly, over the last couple of years, I used to have a really big investment account, even though it has gone up and down. I've made a lot of money, I've lost a lot of money, especially when I was doing trading, short-term trading. So I lost my liquid account. And I'm going to try to be, for the first time in my life since under the age probably 18, to have a positive net worth, to have more assets than I have liabilities, debts, right? Loans, credit cards, things like that. So, we have this credit card epidemic, and to be honest, I'm not with the credit cards no more. I think that, to be honest, you're risking dollars to make pennies. That's really what it is. Most of these credit cards, you're going to be making, when it comes to cash back, to really rewards. Rewards is the thing that's kind of a mystery they like to do. You're probably making less than 4%, 3%. In some cases, 1%, right? Less than a lot of times high yield saving accounts, especially with credit unions and things like that. You can make more money doing that, putting your money in there, than spending money in credit cards. And, social media, the world, society told us, you need credit cards, you need to be getting points, and I did. But the minute it goes wrong, the minute you carry a balance, like, think about it. If you're making 2%, 3% in rewards or cash back, and you carry a balance for a month, 2 months, it's either a wash for the rest of the year, or you're in the negative. So you're risking dollars to make pennies. That's really what it is. And it's a lot of effort to have all these credit cards and things like that. And we're not even going to talk about credit cards that have annual fees. That it costs you money to keep a card open, to keep a line of credit open. And I'm not saying I'm going to get rid of 100% of all my cards, just use debit cards. I'm not saying that, because, to be honest, society and the financial, really the financial system we have in America punishes you. Let's be completely honest. It punishes you when you want to take trips, stay at hotels, things like that, rent cars. You get considerably punished if you do not have a credit card. So, but to be honest, I'm done with chasing, things like that, especially in today's age where anywhere you go, from eating out, fast food to non-fast food to airlines, hotels, they all have reward programs. So it's not like you cannot earn rewards and get some type of cash back on the money you spend. So really, my priority is, I'm going to get rid of probably the majority of my credit cards. I'll probably have a couple simply as another form of emergency fund, right? I plan to eventually get somewhere around $3,000 because we know most Americans cannot cover a $3,000 bill. I plan to have that, but that's going to be in a savings account. You might not be able to access it that then and there, so I'll probably have some type of high limit credit card, probably something with no annual fee. With my job, I just got into my first credit union, MCU, because I'm a city employee. They're pretty known for city employees in New York City. I've seen some credit cards, but getting new credit cards, doing a credit card thing, it's probably easy 12 months away. Really my priority is to completely get debt free, get rid of all my credit cards and all that. I recently, a couple months ago, I got in an accident, had a car cash, even though that shit cost me arm and leg. I was paying $288 in insurance, $450 a month in parking because I live in the Heights. I used to get off really late, and it was another excuse, really loud ass motorcycle. But to be honest, that's almost $700 for an old ass Toyota I'm spending. Now it's gone. And to be honest, it's a blessing because at first I was like, damn, I have to take the train, all this to work. And I used to work for Amazon upstate, talking about an hour and a half round trip. Easy. Not round trip, but actually each way. So it'd be about an hour and a half each way. So we're talking about 3 hours or more to get to and from work. Now I'm very fortunate enough to work for the city, for transit, getting my CDL. I'm actually going to be working in Manhattan. So it's going to be very easy for me. I can take the subways. I take the subways for free anyway, so now I have no transportation cost at all. I move throughout New York City, flash my badge, swipe my Metro card. It's completely free for me as a city employee, really for transit employees. So yeah, and so it's very, very interesting to see how God did some certain things, and then now it's going to benefit me. Where now I'm still going to take $700 out of my check, right, a month. But I'm going to, instead of that, I'm going to, right now pay down debt, but eventually use that money and put it towards investments. IRAs, right now, I plan to do a Roth IRA, probably with Robinhood. Robinhood, if you have Robinhood Go, it has a match. It's good. I forgot what the match is. It might have been like 2%. So I think I'm going to do that, probably. I used to have a TD Ameritrade. I probably still have it. I haven't logged in a year or two. TD Ameritrade. I'll have a non-retirement account I'm going to invest in. With my company, we do have 401ks, 457s. There's no matches. At the moment in time, I'm not going to do it, really, because I want to control what I truly invest in, right? Roth IRAs give you more things I'm going to do with, and I'm going to be making videos on exactly why I'm doing that, why I choose an IRA account over a 401k. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying I will not do it in the future, especially as I begin to get into the six figures. In New York City, taxes are crazy. So I'm definitely going to be looking towards maybe a 401k to possibly bring down my taxable income, right? But that's in the future. But yeah, bro, not too long ago, bro, I was dumb broke. When I mean I had less than $100 to my name, I was going anywhere who had deals, bro. If they were buy one, get one free, if I had to get on a train or a bus 3 minutes to go grab food, bro, it was tough. But, to be honest, I'm not bitching and moaning because it was a position I was in. I put myself in that position, to be honest. Especially when I was getting this job, getting a city job, bro, takes forever. Even when you first take the test, you have to take the test and things like that. And then depending on how you score, that's the list you're in, and that's like the order they'll call you to get this job. But even when they do call you, shit takes forever. Not even gonna hold you. And we're not even talking about if I would have got held for medical. There's guys out here been trying to go get to this job that got called 3-4 months ago, and they're on hold with medical and dealing with all that BS. So I kind of jumped the gun between. From this job, before that, I was with Amazon full time, tried to go to a school bus company. So I basically went from part time. I was only working maybe 1 day a week, 2 days a week, trying to get my CDL and become a school bus driver. During that time, school bus driver, like a month and a half into that, 2 months into that, I got called for this job and I quit the school bus company because I couldn't do both. And then also, I was going to take my CDL road test, get my Class B with my school bus endorsement. Problem is, I was going to have an S1 restriction, which basically meant I can only drive school buses, can't drive city buses. So they would have took away my permit. So I quit right there. I was like, I'm just going to go to MTA, do that. Of course, MTA takes fucking forever. Well over almost 2 months before I can start training and start earning money. And then it took another 2 to 3 weeks to get my first paycheck. So not even going to hold you guys, I was in such a terrible financial spot. I'm glad that I was living at home with my dad, but still eating, drinking. Can't do anything because I'm broke. Every credit card is maxed out for me, and not just maxed out, payments being missed. Amex got canceled. I mean, it was bad, but to be honest, I'm kind of glad because now when I look at it, I'm like, yo, I don't need all these cards, especially ones with these big ass annual fees. $300, almost $400 annual fee for the Amex Gold. Why do I need it, right? And sure, people be like, well, there's all these things that the card gives you. I'm like, listen, bro. So the annual fee is $400. Do you think you probably use $400 worth of points just in the annual fees? Now, I used the Uber Eats credit. It was $10 a month. That's $1.20, which I enjoy. But to be honest, let's be honest. Now that looking back on it, that's probably the only reward I was using on the Amex. So, I mean, cool. My thing is $400 and I'm using $120. So, right, I'm still spending $300 basically just to have a fucking Amex, just to say I have Amex. There's only one person that's ever complimented me on my Amex, and that person was probably just trying to make me feel better and spending a bunch of money. It was some Asian lady when I was still living down in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, to be honest, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Credit card is not where it is. Fine, if you want to get a credit card that has no annual fee, to be honest, I plan to probably use my credit card for big purchases, something I will save up for in cash, have my own savings account. Like for trips, I will save up myself, not going to put it on a fucking card, not going to use Karma, none of that, right? We have a debt epidemic, and I'm glad I've learned these lessons at 22 years old, going on to 23, then at 42. Seeing people that have tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt, $60,000 in credit card debt. Watching on YouTube with some lady had $60,000, right? What's the average interest rate? Somewhere in the mid-20s, could be high as 33%. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So you guys are gonna see what I'm gonna do with my first check, what I'm gonna pay down. How my first priority right now is to get all my basically accounts to current, get them out of 90 days late, shit like that, 60 days late. Do not want shit to go to collections and trying to make shit difficult for me, right? First, get them all current, and then from there, I think it's called the snowball effect. I'm gonna start with the smallest card, the cheapest thing, which might be my Apple Card. I think I got maybe $1.90 on there. I'm trying to think on the top of my head. And each card I'm going to pay off from the smallest to the largest ones. Largest ones might be maybe my Discover. I think that's well over $3,000. My Chase for Amazon's pretty up there, about $2,000. So in total, $14,000. So hope you guys like and subscribe. Follow this series as I'm going to be working my ass off. And hopefully this motivates you. And not just paying off all my debt. I'm also going to be, once I probably get around halfway, sometime this year, now it's August, late August, I want to eventually reopen my Robinhood accounts, reopen all my brokerage accounts, and begin to just put a little bit of money so we can get closer to being first wash, having as much assets as much debt. So bringing my net worth from negative $14,000 to basically zero. I'm in, for the first time truly in my adult life, to ever have a positive network in my life. And I'm going to try to run up this bag, see how fast I can get to 100K. You know, I'm in a position where, you know, I'm going to probably double my income, my first year, then working at Amazon. I'm in a career that I can make 6 figures in a couple years, you know, and there's a lot of upward mobility because, right, I have to wait until I'm 55 to collect my pension, which is around 32, 33 years from now, right? So I plan to run up a bag. I plan to take a lot of risk because I live at home. Those who are young, if you can move back home or stay down for a couple more years, do it, bro, because now everything I prayed for, everything I said I did for my friends, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get my car. First, you know, I was taking a bus to work. That shit took me 3 hours each way. Eventually I went to the Metro North. I told dudes, like, I'm gonna eventually take the train, have enough money. I couldn't afford a Metro North. Shit was tough a year ago. Did not. Then I told dudes, yo, I'm gonna get a car. I told dudes, got a car, had a car for a year. Sadly, I got into an accident, things like that. And I've been telling dudes, like, yo, this is my last year working for Amazon. I'm gonna be trying to run up a bag. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to live at home. You know, I assume I probably maybe a couple years, probably by the time I'm 25. You know, by then I'm gonna move out. My dad's gonna retire, some shit where all of a sudden now I gotta pay for rent, things like that. And rent in New York City ain't cheap. But yo, if I can save $1,500, $2,000, spend it in that, taking that and buying a car with it that a lot of my friends did, doing that shit, invest that shit. What is that in 3 years? What is that? $36,000, right? 1,000. What is that? 1,000 a month. You know, and I'm talking about appreciation. What is 2,000, right? All of a sudden now, by the time I'm 25, and I gotta keep telling myself I'm an old soul. I feel like I'm older than I really am, and everybody keep telling me how young I am. And to be honest, I am about 25, 26 years old. I could have a net worth of $100,000. You know, and I plan to buy my dream Corvette, but I'm not paying 8% in interest with a 7-year car loan that a lot of you guys are doing. You know, for me, I believe in 20% of your income can go to car. Really 10%, really 10. Let's do 10. I think it's, what is it? 20, 10, 4. I think that's it. You know, you need to have 20% down. Can't be more than 10% of your gross annual income, how much you can go, like your car payment, right? And then 4-year car loan instead of 6 and 7. Really, your 4-year car loan, the 20% down, is truly to help you, even though it's a depreciating asset, to allow it to be an asset on your balance sheet, right? Think of how businesses have balance sheets. We all have personal balance sheets. Most of your cars are not assets, they're liabilities. Simply the fact because you're fucking underwater. Because you guys take, one, you have too high interest, you don't put enough down, and then your car loans are too long, right? So the first 3 years, right, you get a 7-year car loan, 8-year car loan, 3 years, majority of it's going to interest. So you pay down basically no fucking principal, and the car has rapidly depreciated, especially if you buy a brand new car. So in 4 years, your car might be worth half, and you paid a fraction towards principal. And then you fucking probably roll negative equity into a new car in 4 years. Instead of, you get a 4-year car loan, you keep that car for 3 years, all of a sudden now, even though yes, that car is depreciated, you probably have positive equity. Now it's an asset. Now you can actually use that money and put it and allow that to be your down payment or whatever you want. You want to get to a smaller car or a cheaper car, you can do that. You can probably walk away with more money into your pocket. You can then invest it, right? Instead of it being a liability on your balance sheet, it's an asset, depreciating asset, but at least it's an asset. So this channel, I'm gonna be talking about finances and things like that, how I'm gonna be running my finances, how I'm gonna get out of the hole I put myself into, and by the time I'm 23, by next year, we're gonna be well over $14,000 in investments. Mark my words, it's August 2025, August of 2026. My net worth is not going to be negative 14,000, but it'll be positive 14,000 or more. Probably, who knows? We don't know. I don't know where it'll be, but that's my goal. By next year, it's going to be positive $14,000 next year. All right. So hopefully you guys will join my journey. Hopefully this will motivate you. Maybe you might like a couple of things I'm doing, what I'm doing with my check, where I'm putting my money, and maybe that might inspire you. You know, for my young guys, anybody who's younger than me, around my age, yo, throw away the credit cards, bro. Just don't have them, bro. I'm being so fucking honest, because you might be good, you might be down for a couple years doing it, be smart with it, but bro, it takes just a couple bad shit. It takes you being stupid. A lot of the shit I've done was, I don't even go to clubs, but a couple times I'm drunk, I'm overseas, partying, PR, and fuck it. You want to buy more juice, you got a fucking credit card. Fuck, swipe. We'll deal with the consequences tomorrow. Today's tomorrow. So, to be honest, and you can't do that if you don't have that card. Like me, I'm gonna take a lot of these cards off my Apple Pay. Gotta take them out of my wallet. The fuck I need them for. To be honest, bro, only cards I might have, if it's non-annual fee, probably eventually my credit union as time goes on. Because the cool thing is they have a very, very low interest or no interest free for the first 12 months. So my plan is eventually to transfer over whatever remaining balance. I'll probably pay down a lot before I even entertain of getting a new card, and whatever the rest, I'll probably put it into there. So then as I begin to pay it out, I'm paying no interest. And the cool thing about my credit union is no annual fees and things like that. And then I might get something like an airline card if it has no annual fee in the future. And then, but like I said, I have so many plans how I plan to move my money around, where I'm actually going to save money for trips. I'm going to save money for emergency funds. I'm going to put money away for certain things, so that when I take these trips, I will then do big purchases only on credit cards. So boom, trip is $1,000, charge the card with $1,000, immediately have $1,000 in the savings account paid off, instead of doing this everyday shit. Every time you go to the bodega, every time you go to McDonald's, every time you go get gas, because eventually you think you're on top of it, you let a couple of days pass, and then you look at your credit card bill, you know, how the fuck, my shit's at a couple $100 in a couple of days, what the fuck? And then you look at all your fucking shit, and then you're like, yeah, I bought that, oh shit, I did buy that. Versus debit cards, something with debit cards is, when I'm using my debit card, I'm more on top of it, especially with SoFi. Every time you buy something, it also shows you your available balance. So like, I'm always reminded how much money I have left, how much money. So I'm always conscious. Where credit cards, I was just free fucking willy with shit. So yeah, that's what this channel is gonna be. Not just channel, but this series personally is getting out of debt, going from, yo, not even living paycheck to paycheck, but less than $100 to my name. It's a nice Black Hawk. Less than $100 in my name. Every single credit card I owned was fucking maxed out. 90 days late, 60 days late. So then, not just being credit card free, but debt free, but also now beginning to build wealth for the first time in my life, and have a positive network. All right, it's getting a little late. Things like that. Gotta eat something. Watch the Yankees. Watch the fucking Giants. Fuck the Red Sox, to be honest. No, I'm just kidding. But I really guys hope you guys will join me on this quest. I know these videos are not very popular, right? Talking about getting out of debt, getting rid of credit cards. It's not a popular thing, but it's something I'm passionate about, bro. And I like to ramble on, so hopefully you're cool with that. But I am going to be documenting my journey. And hopefully you guys will follow me. You'll find it interesting, all right?